The soldier who had been fighting so desperately beside her, the one who urged them to take action, is the first to crack. He sees the Zaraxis closing in and, for the first time, hesitates. His eyes meet hers, filled with fear, doubt, and the realization of what they've all been avoiding, the truth that they may never survive this. "We're dead." The words leave his lips before he can stop them. But before the leader can respond, something shifts in the air. The ground vibrates again, but this time it's not the rumble of Zaraxis ships. It's the unmistakable sound of a large engine roaring, followed by a series of high-pitched, screeching blasts. The Zaraxis forces stop in their tracks, the sound of their movements faltering. "Hold on." The leader mutters, her grip tightening around her weapon. Something is happening. Then, without warning, a deafening explosion rips through the air, a massive burst of energy that sends the Zaraxis soldiers flying back. The sky above is suddenly filled with the brilliant, blinding light of a ship descending, larger than anything the humans have ever seen. The ship is massive, its design unlike anything they've encountered, a hybrid of alien technology and human ingenuity. It's not like the sleek, sterile ships of the Zaraxis. This one is rougher, built for war, yet clearly carrying the signature of resistance. The ship opens fire, its weapons disintegrating the Zaraxis shock troops with terrifying efficiency. The survivors watch in awe as the alien soldiers are torn apart, their advanced technology nothing in the face of this new weapon. For the first time since the Zaraxis invasion began, there's a glimmer of hope, a hope that the fight isn't over. "What is this?" The soldier whispers, eyes wide. His voice trembles with a mixture of disbelief and wonder. The leader stands, the weight of the moment hitting her all at once. This isn't a rescue force. The truth is impossible to deny now, this is a new, powerful faction in the war. A faction of humans, not just survivors, but fighters, engineers, soldiers, scientists, those who have been hiding in the shadows, waiting for a chance to strike back. They've been working in secret, building weapons, forging alliances, and preparing for a war of their own. They've been waiting for this moment, the moment when humanity would need to rise again. A voice crackles through the comms, a tone filled with urgency but also fierce determination. "This is the resistance. We've been watching you. The Zaraxis are vulnerable, now. We know their weaknesses. It's time to finish this." The leader's heart races as she realizes the full scope of what is happening. The war isn't just about survival anymore, it's about taking the fight to the Zaraxis Empire. The resistance, this force that has been fighting in secret, is not just a group of rebels. They have the knowledge, the resources, and the firepower to win. But with this new revelation comes a new burden. The leader now understands that the war is no longer about hiding, about surviving one more day. It's about taking action, about confronting the Zaraxis head-on. This is the turning point, a chance to reclaim what was stolen from them. The weight of it all crashes down on her shoulders, the responsibility, the cost, the lives that will be lost. This isn't just a rebellion. It's the birth of something far greater. We fight for humanity. The leader's voice is firm now, her gaze steady as she watches the resistant soldiers disembark, ready to join the fray. This is no longer about survival, it's about victory. But as the survivors and their new allies prepare to make their stand, a darker thought lingers in the back of the leader's mind. If they win, what will be left of the world they fought for? The war will take more than just lives, it will reshape everything. And there may be no going back. The battlefield is a sprawling ruin, shattered city streets now lined with the wreckage of fallen Zaraxis ships and overturned debris. Smoke fills the air, a constant haze of dust and fire rising up from the burning remnants of the city. The ground trembles beneath the feet of the survivors as the final assault begins. The Zaraxis Empire's flagship, a towering structure of metal and alien tech, looms above them, its presence as oppressive as a storm cloud on the horizon. From within, the Zaraxis forces surge forward, their ranks seemingly endless. The human resistance is scattered but determined, their makeshift weapons glowing with the desperation of a dying people. The leader stands at the front of the makeshift army, the weight of responsibility bearing down on her. The sound of distant gunfire and explosions fills her ears, but there's no time for hesitation. The time for running is over. This is it. Her voice is steady, though her heart races. She's facing the Zaraxis Emperor, the one who orchestrated the invasion, the one who now stands between humanity and annihilation. The Emperor must fall. This is the moment they've been fighting for, the one shot to deal a blow to the Zaraxis that will be felt across the galaxy. But even victory carries a price. Beside her, the resistance leader, a fierce, battle-hardened fighter, signals to the others to hold their ground. The survivors are now divided into two fronts, one to engage the shock troops and Zaraxis war machines, and the other to infiltrate the enemy flagship. The Emperor's throne room lies beyond its colossal gates, and it is there that the final confrontation will take place. The leader grips her weapon, her fingers tight around the cold metal. Her team moves with purpose, using the cover of smoke and the wreckage to approach the ship's entrance. The resistant soldiers fight valiantly, but they are still vastly outnumbered, their movements frenzied, their tactics desperate. Every step forward is a battle in itself, and with each step, the leader feels the weight of every life lost on this journey. The soldier who had once urged them to fight, the one who now fights beside her, moves with grim determination, his face set like stone. But his eyes betray him, there's fear there, hidden behind the veneer of courage. He knows the stakes, knows the risk they're taking. This isn't just a fight for survival, it's a fight for the soul of humanity. As the gates of the Zaraxis flagship creak open, the leader feels the air grow heavier, colder. Inside, the throne room is an awe-inspiring sight, an imposing, dark chamber adorned with alien symbols and lit by a sickly green glow. The Zaraxis Emperor stands at its center, towering above them, flanked by his elite guards. The Emperor's form is cloaked in shadow, its true shape indistinguishable beneath layers of dark armor. But there's no mistaking the presence of its mind, the cold, calculating intelligence that has crushed so many civilizations. The leader feels it pressing against her thoughts, invasive and suffocating. The Emperor speaks, its voice a low hum that echoes through the chamber, a voice that cuts through her like a blade. You have come far, human. The Emperor's voice seems to vibrate the very air around them, sending shivers through her spine. But you are too weak. You always were. The leader's pulse quickens. The Emperor's words sting, but she's heard them all before. This alien empire, this invader of worlds, had always seen humanity as inferior, as a fragile species ripe for subjugation. But now they stand at the threshold of extinction, facing the very thing that sought to eradicate them. And still, they fight. No. The leader's voice rings out across the room, her defiance rising in the face of certain death. We are not weak. And we will not fall. With a sudden, swift motion, the Emperor gestures to its guards. They move, their cloaked forms blurring with speed, converging on the survivors with blinding precision. The leader's pulse races, this is the moment. She charges forward, her weapon raised, a roar of defiance escaping her lips. The battle is a whirlwind of motion. The resistant soldiers fight fiercely, but the Emperor's guards are no ordinary warriors. They are as much a part of the Zaraxis as the Emperor itself, cold, calculating, and brutal. Every strike they make is lethal, every movement a perfect execution of their training. The leader fights back with every ounce of her being, each movement fueled by the weight of everything she's lost. Her blows are strong, precise, but the Emperor's guards are relentless, their energy weapons burning through the air like lightning. And then, as she closes the distance between herself and the Emperor, the world seems to slow. The Emperor's voice booms once more, but this time, it is not just a sound, it is a command. The ground beneath her feet shifts, and in that instant, the leader realizes what the Emperor's true power is. It is not just the army at its command, nor the ships that blot out the sky. It is its control over the very fabric of reality itself. The Emperor is manipulating the world around them, warping space and time. The leader stumbles, but just as she does, she spots something, a glimmer of hope. In the corner of the chamber, hidden beneath a shattered console, lies a detonator, a weapon that could bring the flagship down. She moves toward it, each step a battle against the disorienting effects of the Emperor's power. The soldier who had fought beside her, who had once questioned every choice, reaches out, his hand steady as he catches her arm with a final, defiant cry. The leader presses the button. The room erupts in an explosion of light and sound. The Emperor's throne shatters, its control over the battlefield faltering. For a fleeting moment, the survivors taste victory. But the Emperor, weakened but not defeated, steps forward, its voice a guttural growl. This is not the end. As the walls of the flagship crumble, the leader knows that the war has just begun. But the fight has been taken to their enemies, and humanity's chance at survival and vengeance is finally within reach. There is no turning back now. The once gleaming spires of the Xeraxis flagship are now little more than smoldering ruins. The sky above is a grim canvas, darkened by plumes of smoke that curl up into the atmosphere like the last breath of a dying empire. The distant sound of collapsing debris reverberates across the landscape, a haunting echo of the battle that has just unfolded. The leader stands amidst the rubble, her eyes scanning the horizon. The ground is littered with the shattered remnants of both Xeraxis war machines and human weapons. The air is thick with the stench of burning metal and scorched earth. The victory they fought for is bittersweet, hard-won, but at a cost they may never truly comprehend. Around her, the survivors move slowly, their faces etched with exhaustion, relief, and grief. The soldiers who fought valiantly now kneel in the ashes of the battlefield, their expressions heavy with the weight of what they've lost. Some have fallen in the chaos, others, like the leader, have made it through the storm, scarred but alive. They won. The Emperor is dead. But it feels as though nothing will ever be the same again. The leader's gaze drifts over to the wreckage of the Xeraxis command center, where the final confrontation unfolded. It is hard to believe that the Xeraxis Empire, an invincible, godlike force that had seemed unconquerable just days ago, has been brought to its knees. And yet, as the leader walks through the desolate remnants of the flagship, she can't shake the feeling that the war is far from over. The death of the Emperor has shaken the foundations of the Empire, but it will take more than one battle to undo the devastation that has been wrought upon humanity. She pauses, placing a hand on the cold, alien hull of a shattered warship. The memories of the battles, of the countless lives lost, of comrades who will never return, flood back. They had paid a price for this victory. And that cost will be carried with them for the rest of their lives. But there's also a glimmer of something else, a small spark of hope. Humanity has faced extinction, but they are still standing. The rebellion has sparked something greater. The survivors, though few, are not broken. They are not the defeated, scattered remnants of an oppressed species, they are the beginning of a movement. The Xeraxis may have been the dominant empire of the galaxy, but they were not invincible. And humanity has shown the universe that it will not go down quietly. The leader turns to the soldier who had stood beside her throughout the fight, the one who had hesitated and questioned, but now stood with resolve. His face is drawn, weary from the weight of the battle, but there's a quiet pride in his eyes. He nods at her, wordlessly acknowledging the unspoken understanding between them. Her voice is hoarse, the words feeling like both an end and a beginning. The fight against the Xeraxis may have reached its conclusion, but the road ahead is still uncertain. There are others out there, other empires, other threats, other challenges. The universe is vast, and humanity's fight for survival is far from over. But now, there is something to fight for. As the leader and her team look to the distant stars, a small convoy of resistance ships emerges from the wreckage of the flagship's remains. They are battered, worn, but they are flying, carrying the last vestiges of hope, determination, and the will to rebuild. Humanity's struggle has only just begun. The leader takes a deep breath, the weight of the past settling on her shoulders, but there is something lighter in her heart. She is no longer just fighting to survive. She is fighting for a future where humanity's place in the galaxy is no longer determined by fear, but by strength, unity, and resilience. This is just the beginning, she whispers, as the stars above flicker with the promise of what is to come. And for the first time in a long time, she allows herself to believe it. The remnants of the battlefield are silent now, save for the distant hum of engines and the steady pulse of 1,000 survivors gathering their strength. The once mighty Xeraxis Empire lies in ruins, its heart torn out, its emperor fallen. The human resistance, scarred but resilient, stands victorious, but the cost of that victory is written across every face, every weary body, every soul that has yet to heal. The leader stands at the edge of the crater where the final battle took place, the horizon stretching endlessly before her. The light of distant stars flickers above, illuminating a sky that was once claimed by alien invaders. Humanity had won back a small piece of the universe, but in doing so, they had only peeled back the first layer of an even greater darkness. Behind her, the survivors begin the painful process of rebuilding. Ships are salvaged, wounded are tended to, and those who fought beside her, brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, begin to lay the foundations of a new future. But no one speaks of what comes next. The battle for survival is over, but the war for peace, if such a thing can exist, has only begun. The leaders' thoughts are heavy, burdened by the weight of everything they have sacrificed. Victory should bring relief, but all it brings is a deeper understanding of the cost. They are free, but at what cost? The ashes of the Zaraxis Empire still smolder across the stars, and the scars left behind by their invasion are more than physical, they are spiritual, emotional, and psychological. Every person on this planet, every survivor of the war, has been marked. But with that mark comes something else, a shared strength, a shared will to rebuild. The galaxy has never seen humanity's capacity for resilience, its will to rise from the ashes, its ability to forge something new from destruction. We've won, but this is just the beginning. Her words echo in her mind, spoken not just to the people around her, but to herself. The battle may be over, but the larger fight is still to come. The Zaraxis may be shattered, but they were not the only empire in the galaxy. The fall of one is the rise of others, others who may have watched the Zaraxis fall from the shadows, waiting for their turn to claim dominion over the stars. She turns to the soldier beside her, the one who had stood by her side through every trial, every hardship. His face is marked with the same mixture of victory and sorrow that she feels in her bones. He nods, understanding the silent message she communicates without words. There is more out there. More to fight. More to lose. A soft buzz breaks the silence between them, a message coming through. The leader taps her comms unit, her fingers trembling for a moment. This is Commander Lena of the Resistance Fleet. Are you receiving this? The voice on the other end is new, but its tone is unmistakable, a sense of urgency and authority that cuts through the air like a knife. The leader's heart skips a beat. Another resistance leader? Or perhaps someone more ominous? We're receiving you loud and clear. What's the situation? The leader responds, trying to keep her voice steady. We've found something. Something far worse than we expected. Her pulse quickens. What could be worse than the Zaraxis? The thought unsettles her, but she hides the growing dread in her chest. The soldier beside her stiffens, eyes narrowing. There's a long pause before the voice returns, heavy with implications. The Zaraxis were not alone. We've detected a fleet moving on our position. Bigger, stronger, and more advanced than anything we've encountered so far. We believe it's a force from the Empire of Varith, a race we've only heard of in hushed whispers. The Zaraxis were just one arm of a greater galactic domination. This new empire is something we were never prepared for. The words fall like a hammer, smashing any semblance of peace they thought they had earned. The Zaraxis were just the beginning. A much larger threat looms on the horizon, an empire that has been hidden in the farthest corners of the galaxy, waiting for the right moment to strike. Humanity's enemies were not gone, they were merely biding their time, preparing to reclaim what they lost. The leader takes a deep breath, steadying herself. There is no time for shock, no time for fear. She has led her people through impossible odds before. This new threat, though terrifying, will not be the end. It can't be. Humanity is not just fighting for survival anymore, they are fighting to claim their place among the stars. This is their future, their destiny. How soon? She asks, her voice firm now. We don't know yet. But it's only a matter of time. The comms cut out abruptly, leaving only the sound of the wind rustling through the wreckage. The silence in its wake is deafening, a cold reminder that the battle for survival is never truly over. The galaxy is vast, its dangers innumerable. And as much as they've fought, as much as they've sacrificed, there is still so much left to face. The leader turns back to the survivors. They stand together, united by shared loss, shared purpose. Their faces are set with determination. They will rebuild, but they will not be complacent. They know now that peace is an illusion. The stars are filled with threats, vast, unseen, and terrifying. But humanity will no longer be a passive participant in the galaxy's games. They will be a force. The soldier beside her speaks again, his voice quiet but resolute. We're ready. We will fight. We always will. A moment of silence passes between them, a shared understanding that this war is far from over. Humanity's strength is not just in numbers, but in their spirit. Their unity. Their will to overcome, no matter the cost. The leader looks toward the stars, toward the vast unknown, and in that moment, she knows the truth. The universe is a battlefield. And humanity's fight for survival has only just begun. As the scene fades, the sounds of distant ships fill the air. The survivors begin to regroup, their hands already working to prepare for the challenges ahead. But in the back of their minds, the question remains, what now? What comes after the fall of an empire? What comes after they've conquered their greatest fear? And will humanity ever truly be free? The stars are silent, but they will not stay that way for long. In the dark corners of the galaxy, new empires are watching, and their time is coming. Humanity's future hangs in the balance. Will they rise to meet this new threat, or will they fall to the shadows once more? The resistance has begun, but the war is far from over. If you're curious to see what happens next, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned for more.